What is up, YouTube? Kanye reveals what Kim did at Diddy's parties and why she would be arrested. Lordy day. Y'all hit that subscribe button, man. Celeb Live. We're at this channel, checking out what's going on. How y'all doing? Y'all doing all right? Thank y'all, man. I was in the chat, in the comment section. I'm gonna spray some more stuff on right now. I feel a lot better. I feel different though. It's like my body went through. Dude, I never had a headache that was bigger than a migraine, man. I thought I was gonna cry. I couldn't cry. It was hurting. My head was hurting so bad, man. I thought it was the end. I tried to go use the bathroom. I tried to do everything. My headache was hurting so bad, man. I swear I was ready to go to the doctor. I'm like, I don't know what's going on, man. I'm like, God dang it. But anyway, I feel a lot better. One more hour. I'm waiting for my BC powder to come. Y'all hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. Let's check it out.
But as far as Meek Mills, Puff Daddy, whoever, none of these, all you fake hard.
I really do feel this way. This Kim Kardashian devoted her life to something, but it certainly wasn't the pursuit of academic excellence. She didn't even go to college.
Kim Kardashian didn't just rise to fame. She was placed there. And the man who helped place her, the same one now serving a 50-month sentence for trafficking and racketeering. That name, Sean Diddy Combs, has become radioactive in Hollywood. But what few people are willing to say out loud is how deep Kim's connection once ran, and how quickly she tried to erase it the moment the walls closed in. We can see it in the timeline, in the sudden digital disappearances, and in the panic now radiating from her public image. Kim Kardashian isn't just managing a crisis. She's outrunning a past that could destroy the entire Kardashian machine. It started quietly in March 2024, when Kim unfollowed Diddy on Instagram. On paper, it looked like a simple act of distance, but that same week, federal agents raided Diddy's homes in Los Angeles and Miami, seizing evidence linked to an ongoing federal case that would later expand into trafficking and racketeering. Insiders at the time said Kim's unfollow wasn't a coincidence. It was self-preservation. She wasn't cutting off an acquaintance. She was deleting an era. For more than a decade, the Kardashians had been fixtures at Diddy's legendary parties, often photographed beside him, laughing, glowing, and networking their way through Hollywood's inner circle. When those same parties became part of a criminal investigation, Kim's silence was deafening. She didn't comment, she didn't post, and she certainly didn't defend him. Instead, she unfollowed and vanished for 2 weeks from her own platforms.
They control Jay-Z and Beyonce.
Not you, man.
But they can't control me. You see, it ain't no name I won't name.
Exactly.
The fallout grew even more uncomfortable when Ye, her ex-husband, the father of her 4 children, and the man who knows her machinery better than anyone, took aim. In early 2025, Ye launched into a rant about Hollywood sacrifices, a phrase that sent social media spiraling. They can control LeBron, Jay-Z, Beyonce, he said, but they can't control me. To most, it sounded like another Ye moment, but behind that rant was something else. Ye was connecting dots between celebrity influence, hidden money, and the people who built careers on access to power. When he mentioned Diddy by name, followers began asking what his ex-wife knew about those same circles. The implication was clear. If Diddy represented the dark side of fame, then Kim had been sitting at the same table for you.
And, you know, the thing about the kids at some point here, and not for the younger ones, it's at some point. For North, it's right now, right? That even if she doesn't see it, even if somehow Kim is able to keep that away from her, the kids her friends at school, they're gonna know about it. They're gonna see it. And it puts the kids in a horrible situation.
From there, the chain reaction only got louder. Ray J, Kim's former boyfriend and the man tied to the tape that launched her career, reappeared in the headlines. But this time, it wasn't nostalgia. It was a threat. During a live stream in September 2024, Ray J told millions of viewers that he was preparing a federal RICO case against Kim and Kris Jenner. Claims so explosive, they triggered an immediate lawsuit for defamation. The feds are coming, he warned. It's about to be worse than Diddy. The Kardashians' lawyer, Alex Spiro, called the remarks false and serious, but the damage was done. Viewers had already clipped the livestream, uploaded it to TikTok, and dissected every word. Why would Ray J, who once benefited from Kim's rise, risk another legal war unless he believed something was there. And if his allegations were baseless, why did the family move so aggressively to silence him instead of simply ignoring him? By October, a forgotten piece of footage resurfaced, a 2014 episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians that suddenly felt like a confession. Klhoe, recounting a weekend party, laughed as she told Kourtney, half the people were naked. She named names: Diddy, Quincy Brown, Justin Bieber, French Montana. Back then, it was just another story from the family's reality show Chaos. But in 2025, that clip looked different. That wasn't a harmless anecdote. That was a timestamp, placing the Kardashian sisters inside Diddy's world during the same years federal investigators now describe as his most disturbing period.
Fans flooded the comments under old photos. Kim in silver sequins beside Diddy,
Khloe's caption reading, "Nothing like a Diddy party." What had once been glamorous now looked incriminating.
Like, it's just crazy. Interact with other human beings besides the children in your family all day long. We're great, I know.
Behind the scenes, the mood in Calabasas shifted from defiant to fragile. Kim's public appearances dropped. Her team canceled interviews, and insiders said she'd become deeply paranoid about leaks. Around the same time, Ye reignited their feud by accusing her of blocking their daughter North from being associated with one of his new projects featuring Diddy's music. He leaked their private texts, exposing the raw tension that had never really faded. "She's hiding behind lawyers," one post read, before being deleted. The fight wasn't just about custody or parenting. It was about optics. Kim couldn't afford any connection, even indirect, to a man the FBI now classified as a suspected trafficker. And Ye, sensing weakness, kept pushing.
But it's gotten you so far.
I don't know how I would deal as a mom. I'm gonna have to.
You're gonna have to. You do. I was gonna say we're gonna get to that. But do you think your mom is unfazed now? Do you think there's anything you actually could do that your mom would be like, actually, what?
I think every time we say that, something comes up and then it's like, what?
What followed was a series of small implosions that made the entire Kardashian brand feel unstable. Kim was slammed online for defending North's viral TikTok videos featuring fake tattoos and piercings, an attempt, some said, to distract from darker headlines. Then came the lawsuit against Ray J, the press statements about reckless disregard for the truth, and finally, Kim's on-camera breakdown during the season 7 premiere of The Kardashians. Sitting in a sterile exam room, she confessed to her family that she'd been diagnosed with a brain aneurysm. They were like, "Just stress," she said. But the question no one asked on screen, and the one echoing through every gossip forum since, is what that stress really was. Because by then, the Diddy sentencing was only weeks away. 50 months behind bars, a global scandal, and a list of witnesses that, according to court filings, included names from across entertainment. Kim's unfollow had come months before that verdict, almost as if she'd seen it coming. Insiders claim her team was terrified she might be subpoenaed, not as a suspect, but as someone who could verify the inner workings of those celebrity circles. Whether that fear was justified or not, pressure was real enough to make her health unravel.
Kourtney always says North is my lesson on this planet.
What does that mean? She's your lesson.
It means that I'm supposed to learn even more patience.
Meanwhile, Ye wasn't letting up. He continued hinting that Hollywood's elite protect their own, and that Kim's empire was built on sacrifices no one wanted to name. For him, it wasn't about the marriage anymore. It was about exposure. And his timing was strategic. Every time new filings emerged in Diddy's case, West's rants resurfaced, tying Kim's image to the narrative she was fighting to escape. By late September, even casual fans were asking the same uncomfortable question. Did Kim rise on her own? Or was her success engineered by a network now collapsing under federal scrutiny? And that's when everything took a darker turn. In a teaser for her reality show, Kim sits at a table, visibly shaken, whispering, "Why is this happening?" The camera lingers on her face just long enough to feel like something more than exhaustion. Her public explanation, stress from her divorce, the weight of co-parenting, the pressure of fame, was believable. But what if it wasn't the full story? What if the real stress wasn't Ye at all? What if it was the dread of what Diddy's trial might expose? The parties, the tapes, the people who were there and the ones who weren't supposed to be. What if that aneurysm wasn't just bad luck, but the price of keeping quiet as a world she once thrived in finally started to implode around her?
Kim Kardashian has a big announcement about the bar exam.
By the way, results come in 2 weeks.
She has passed it. Or at least she is very confident that she passed it. And
If the first half was about the cracks in Kim's
Make
story,
up your mind.
what's coming next is about what's crawling out of them. Because now the story isn't just about a reality star under pressure. It's about an empire built on silence, money, and control. And when we start following the money, things get uncomfortable fast. Take the $200,000 a month Kim receives from Ye in child support. On paper, it's a divorce settlement. But in context, it feels like something else entirely. This isn't child support. It's hush money. A monthly reminder that some secrets are worth more than others. And if that sounds paranoid, wait until we see what Kim allowed her 12-year-old daughter to post online. Northwest, born into fame, raised under a spotlight she never chose, posted a drawing earlier this year that stunned even longtime Kardashian followers. It was her take on the cover art for West's Vultures 1 album, a cover so explicit it had already been pulled from multiple platforms. Fans called it disturbing, inappropriate, even calculated. North's version softened nothing. The real question wasn't why she drew it. It was who let her share it. Who thought it was acceptable for a 12-year-old to promote an album that her father's own team reportedly called explicit in tone? Unless, of course, it wasn't promotion at all. Unless the post was a signal, a message from Kim, using her daughter as both shield and distraction. Every scandal needs a diversion. And what better distraction than a viral headline about North's creativity while the grown-ups fight a war in the shadows?
I mean, I think that extra pressure just makes it a little bit harder. I think people were going to be, I thought like, oh my God, everyone's going to be so upset with me because I'm just like leaving, and I wouldn't want someone to think I was leaving someone because it got too hard. But there was just a lot in there that for my soul, I felt like I had to make that decision. And
that pattern, deflect, distract, deny, goes back years. We remember Khloe Kardashian's old story about attending Diddy's parties. In that 2014 clip, she laughed and said half the guests were naked. At the time, it was played for humor. Another outrageous anecdote from Hollywood's wild nights. But hearing it now feels different, especially when she casually added that Justin Bieber was there. Bieber was only 20, barely an adult, surrounded by A-listers twice his age, in a house where, by Khloe's own words, half the people were naked. That line used to make the audience laugh. Now it makes the air go cold. Bieber has never spoken about that night. Neither has Kim. Neither has Khloe. The only one who ever mentioned those gatherings publicly was Diddy himself. And now he's behind bars. Let's talk about Justin Bieber, because his name in this story isn't an accident. It's a pattern. Bieber didn't just happen to be there in 2014. He was part of a constellation of stars orbiting Diddy's world at its most powerful moment. At 20, he was still branded as the innocent prodigy who'd just survived his first wave of tabloid chaos. But behind closed doors, his inner circle was shifting. He'd started working with producers tied to Diddy's label network, showing up at the same industry afterparties, and, most notably, crossing paths with Kim Kardashian's social web more than once. The cameras never caught them together, but photos from that period show shared entourages, mutual publicists, and identical event backdrops. When people talk about the Diddy circle, they forget how wide it was, and Bieber was inside it.
It sounds like you're dealing with a bunch of your own decided, like, harvest this and build up all this animosity toward.
By 2025, that detail suddenly mattered again. As Diddy's legal case expanded, the tabloids revived the old footage of Khloe's confession, and Bieber's name was back in headlines for all the wrong reasons. Only this time, his silence felt strategic. No comment, no denial, no acknowledgement. Insiders from his team claimed he was focused on his faith, but to others, that faith looked a lot like fear, because acknowledging one party would mean admitting how many more there might have been, and how many people were there who can no longer afford to speak.
A Vogue cover that I did came out today. I was like, are we going to like lose our minds in our family chat today? Because like,
and celebrate.
How are 3 family members on the same month of different Vogues? Like, that's just such a trip to me. Like, this can never get.
It's worth remembering that Bieber's own turning point, the moment he publicly rebranded as a spiritual artist, came just a few months after he quietly distanced himself from several older industry mentors, including some connected to Diddy's network. Around the same time, Kim Kardashian was still attending those same gatherings, still being photographed beside the same faces Bieber was erasing from his timeline. It's almost as if one escaped and the other stayed. That's what makes his silence today so chilling. He knows exactly what those rooms looked like. He just doesn't want to describe them. Now the timeline looks even stranger. In March 2025, Kim unfollowed Diddy. That same month, Bieber's name resurfaced in tabloid reports linking him to the 2014 party footage. The overlap is hard to ignore. Coincidence or coordination? Because when two of the most media-savvy figures on the planet move in sync, we have to ask why. Some entertainment lawyers speculate that both teams received quiet warnings about new evidence being reviewed by federal investigators. If that's true, then Kim's unfollow wasn't a social media move. It was legal triage. And here's where the story widens beyond one family. If Diddy's conviction is just the first domino, how many more names will fall with him? The same people who helped shape pop culture, who shared stages, magazine covers, and brand deals, might soon find themselves linked by the same decade-old trail of private events. Kim Kardashian wasn't just at the party. She was part of the system that made those parties untouchable. And if Bieber, the world's most photographed teenager turned silent witness, is suddenly back in the conversation, it means the web is bigger and far more coordinated than anyone ever wanted to believe.
I'm a really forgiving person, but I really haven't dated like that to have those kinds of toxic relationships.
Yep.
Since I've been divorced, I feel like that dating world is so, from what I remember it would have been I would have been way younger. And I think when you get older, you just don't tolerate that.
Of time.
We can't ignore what that silence suggests. Because silence is its own kind of confession. When a family built on transparency suddenly stops talking, that's when we start asking what they're protecting. Insiders who worked with the Kardashians during those early years have whispered that certain A-list connections were off limits to discuss, especially anything tied to Diddy's events. Those same insiders claimed that after the raids on Diddy's homes, Kris Jenner ordered a quiet audit of every old photo, every video, every post that might link the family to him. Within days, hundreds of old clips vanished from social media. Coincidence or damage control? And yet, amid all the rumors, Kim tried to play it calm. On her show, she blamed her brain aneurysm on stress. She told viewers it came from her divorce, from co-parenting, from trying to move on. But divorces don't usually trigger aneurysms. Secrets do. Fear does. The kind of fear that crawls under the skin when you realize your entire legacy rests on lies you can't afford to expose. Doctors can talk about blood pressure and fatigue, but insiders close to Kim say what really broke her down wasn't her split from Ye. It was the possibility that her past might finally catch up to her. Because when Diddy's name hit the headlines for trafficking charges, she knew that every photo, every story, every old clip could resurface in ways no publicist could contain.
I don't have a concept of what certain simple things cost, which really is, I'd like to know a little bit more about what a milk carton cost, and let me think about this.
We've seen how Kim reacts when she's cornered. She sues, she unfollows, she goes quiet. The same playbook every time. But each silence seems to make the noise louder. Ray J's lawsuit, West's rants, the viral clips from Keeping Up, all circling back to the same shadow. The one name she can't scrub from her history. Diddy. The same man she now insists she barely knew, even as photo after photo tells another story. The truth may not be written in court documents. It might be hidden in the way these people move, the timing of their exits, the panic behind their smiles. As for Ye, he's spiraling in his own way, facing lawsuits, shrinking wealth, and accusations of misconduct. Yet somehow he keeps returning to one obsession: that there's a system built to control artists like him, and that Kim was part of it. His followers may call him unhinged, but his timing is impeccable. Every time Kim tries to pivot toward positivity, Ye drags her name back into the same conversation. Diddy's empire, Hollywood's sacrifices, and the price of silence. When he says, "They can control Jay-Z and Beyonce, but not me," it sounds like ego. But what if it's evidence? What if he's naming the network that made and protected stars like Kim in exchange for their compliance? The tension between them isn't just personal anymore. It's systemic. A billionaire reality mogul and a fallen rap icon, both tied to the same crumbling foundation. And right in the middle, their 12-year-old daughter, posting artwork that looks less like innocence and more like a warning. Maybe North doesn't even realize what she's signaling. Maybe Kim does. Maybe that's the point. By now, the pieces form a pattern we can't unsee. West's rants, Ray J's threats, Diddy's trial, North's drawing, Klhoe's confession, Bieber's silence, Kim's aneurysm. These aren't random scandals. They're coordinates on the same map. And if that map leads anywhere, it's somewhere darker than we're ready to admit. Because if Kim Kardashian's fame was built on silence, what happens when the world finally stops listening to her and starts listening to them? Tell us what you think in the comments. Are we watching the fall of an empire or the unveiling of something much bigger? Until next time, stay alert, stay curious, and remember, Hollywood's brightest lights always cast the darkest shadows.
This is, oh my gracious. My bad, y'all. I'm over here in the middle. At least try to listen to the closing. Kanye, to me, is still doing the same thing, man. Y'all let me know what y'all think, man. I don't know why she should be arrested. Oh my God, just Kim. I think it's just the last name. I really think it's just the last name, man. I'm gonna get on up out of here. I am trying to do too many things at one time, but guess what? We're like 80%, dog. Y'all take it light, take it slow. Tell him, Uncle Mike, told you so. Peace out.